Hey everybody, this is Dream, and today we have a 5-game Major League Baseball slate that starts at 1 p.m. Eastern. This is somewhat early for a main slate, but this is the one we get. The late slate tonight has 3 games in it, so I'm going to make the video for this one. This is the main slate after all, so before I get started, can you guys smash that like and subscribe button? It really does help the channel a lot. Also, please drop your comments below with your home run calls or anything else that you want to say about the particular slate or anything else. Also, make sure to check out the 1 cent games throughout this week. It helps you really work on different lineup builds and stuff like that. I've managed to take down a bunch of those already. I think I've taken about 6 or 7 of these things down already. So the payouts are pretty nice when you're playing with small bits. So I really do like it. Let's go ahead and get into the slate though. So our core plays are Corbin Carroll, Esteury Ruiz, and Lane Thomas. Ruiz is in there because he is just getting a ton of stolen bases. Corbin Carroll's metrics for this slate are just completely off the charts, and Lane Thomas is in a really good spot, and he's been hitting pretty well. So obviously there's some other guys I could have put in, and they're all in the outfield position. I didn't feel like anybody at the other positions really just jumped off the charts super hard, but I did like Gary Sanchez as a almost core play, so I just figured I'd mention him. Also Tatis Jr., who plays in the outfield. So let's get into our pitchers now. So we're going to start with Blake Snell. Now he has the best option. He is the best option of the expensive plays for P1 options. Unfortunately, everybody's got a tough matchup today for your P1 options, so he has the best situation as he's going against San Francisco. He's had a rough year, but his last 5 starts have been shutouts or 1 earned run game, and he's had some really big games as a result. He's done at least 6 innings and had 7 strikeouts in the last 4, including 2 12-strikeout games. As long as he's pitching well, he's in play. This slate is pretty tough for all the matchups, so he's the de facto P1 option. Ryan and Elder both come in as good P2 contrarian plays, as they have extremely tough matchups against Boston and Philadelphia, but they have managed to put together some decent games throughout the season, but they just don't have the best upside on this particular slate, but they have some, and so they're definitely in play. And then Austin Nola is our Hail Mary play for this P1 option, as he is extremely expensive, and he faces the best offense in baseball, but he's also the best pitcher available. He's only had a couple good games, though, lately, which is really having him a rough season. He's had a really bad floor in the top, at right around 10 fantasy points. For his price, that's not going to get it done today, but he is in play simply because it's a small slate, and he is a Hail Mary option at this position. Moving our P2 options, I have 3 to consider, and one of Logan Allen being the first one, Sears being the second one, and Wood being the third. All 3 of these guys face somewhat interesting matchups and teams that are going to have some upside in these matchups, but they all have some ability to have decent games. Beyond these 3, there's not much else, so you could also put Elder as a P2 option as well if you wanted, but Allen, Sears, and Wood, now they don't really have a ton of upside, but they have decent floors in these matchups, just a little bit risky as a result of the teams they're going against. And so I don't think any of them are going to get 20 fantasy points, but they're in play of P2 options regardless. Let's go and get our batters here. We're going to start with our catchers. J.Cho Realmuto is the de facto top guy. He's hitting the ball pretty well lately. He's got nice upside and home run potential in this one. But he's somewhat risky with his price, and he's going to be somewhat hard to roster if you pay up for pitchers, which is probably a good thing to do today. But good thing is there's plenty of value throughout the slate. Keibert Ruiz is a good option. For a catcher as well, as he's very cheap. He does have home run upside, but he is not a great hitter. He's only got a 231 average, and he hasn't been all that great lately either. So he is high risk, high reward, but he does draw a good matchup and has decent metrics for this game. But Gary Sanchez is probably my favorite option at this position, as he's not played a ton of games, and he is a home run or bust guy. But if he does draw the start today, he'll be a home run guy. As you can see, he doesn't start every game, and sometimes he doesn't get but one at bat. But he is in play with this home run potential today. You could also consider Connor Wong and Travis d'Arnaud here. Moving to first base, Christian Walker is my top play here. though he is also fairly expensive. He does draw good metrics and home run potential here. I really do like Arizona stacks today, though it is hard to fit some of these guys in as they are not priced down very much. And so he is in play, but he is high risk here. Moving into Joey Menendez for Washington, he draws some really good metrics for this game. He hasn't hit the home runs this season, but he's hitting the ball decently well. And even if he gets 10 fantasy points, that will be okay for this particular guy at this position, as there's not a ton of great value options otherwise. He has got some good upside, though, in this matchup, and Washington is definitely a team that's stackable with them being cheap like that. Nelson Cruz is also in play as a Hail Mary call. He is a boom or bust, home run or bust kind of guy. However, he has absolutely top tier metrics for this slate, so he is in play and he's super cheap as well. But he does carry that risk that he doesn't do much else other than hitting home runs sometimes. You could also consider Matt Olson, Ryan Noda, Josh Naylor, and Alex Kirilloff at this position. Maybe in the second base, Ketel Marte is our top tier play. He is very expensive. I do like Arizona, but they are going to be hard to roster as their prices are high. But they do draw good metrics here. He does especially as well, and he also has home run potential. Some value plays here is Julian for Minnesota, as he draws really good metrics for this game. He's hitting the ball pretty well lately. I like his upside, and he has some nice potential here, and he's dirt cheap. And then Kim for San Diego. He's had some really good games throughout the season, and he had a good game yesterday. He had a good game a couple games ago. I like his upside here, as again, he's hit the ball pretty well here in San Francisco, and I like for that to continue here. He's also pretty cheap, and he's very rosterable. Not a huge home run threat, but he definitely draws good metrics, and this is a position where you can afford to pay for a guy that's not going to hit a home run that's cheap. Ozzy Albies is also in play, as he has just hit the ball extremely well this season. You could also consider Albies, Estrada, and Andres Jimenez. Maybe in the third base here, we're going to look at Manny Machado for San Diego. Now, he draws really good metrics here, very expensive. Has been a little bit inconsistent throughout the season, but he's hitting the ball every game at least right lately. I like his upside as that potential, but he does need to hit a home run to really pay off here. Jose Ramirez is also in play for Cleveland, as he draws really good metrics here. I do like his upside and home run potential in this one. He's also hitting the ball extremely well and having some consistency scoring fantasy points. Justin Turner is a good value play on this slate, as he draws good metrics and nice upside on this and potential here, though he does draw some risk as he is facing a little bit of a tougher matchup than some of the other guys. I do like his potential regardless. Royce Lewis is also in play today from Minnesota. It's kind of a contrarian almost Hail Mary play. He's only played a handful of games, but he's hitting the ball pretty well, and he's having some big games. He has some home run upside, so I do like his potential here. You could also consider Willie Castro as a Hail Mary play, and Rafael Devers, who hasn't hit the ball great this season. Moving into shortstop, we're going to look at Bogarts for San Diego. He draws really good metrics here, though he hasn't hit the ball well lately. I don't love his upside, but I do think if he can hit a home run, if he can sneak one out, then that would definitely pay off for him. But there's plenty of good options elsewhere for this position, with Ahmad Rosario being pretty good lately. He's getting a lot of hits recently, so I like his potential here. And he does face Oakland pitching, which is always suspect. Though he hasn't hit the ball particularly great this season, and he doesn't have a whole lot of home run upside, he does draw nice upside here. Carlos Correa could also play this position. He's not hit the ball well this season, but he is kind of a Hail Mary play, though he is fairly expensive. And then you could also consider Geraldo Perdomo and also Hae-Soo Kim. Kim can be a good option in second base or shortstop for that matter. I kind of like a Julian and Kim stack here, Minnesota, San Diego, for second base and shortstop today. So maybe in the outfielders, obviously I have three core plays in the outfield, but I think there's lots of different options you can run with. But we'll start by talking about these three. And Corbin Carroll for Arizona, he is extremely expensive. He draws huge home run upside though, and so he's in play, but he is high risk, high reward with that price point. Ruiz for Oakland, he draws a really good metric, and Oakland is a sneaky stack again today, as they have hit the ball pretty well the last few games, And he has been hitting the ball extremely well, has nice upside, and he's still in a ton of bases, which is really just boosting his fantasy output. And so if he can get on base, then he's a guy that's going to get a stolen base. That's kind of how he's been working. I really like his potential here. He's also just dirt cheap. And then Lane Thomas, he's got really good metrics for this game. He's also hit the ball pretty well lately. I like his upside, and he has fantastic potential. Some other top tier options are Tatis Jr. For San Diego, as he has good metrics for this game, and he draws a nice matchup. Ronald Acuna Jr. is also in play, as he's just been a top tier option. Honestly, I could see Ruiz score as many fantasy points as Acuna today, so do keep that in mind, because they both kind of have the same kind of upside today, but especially with Acuna facing a tough pitcher. Then we'll look at our other value plays, and Ramon Laureano for Oakland. If he draws a start today, he should be interesting play, though he hasn't hit the ball good this season. He draws some good metrics for this matchup, so I do like his potential, but he's high risk, high reward. Same goes for Rooker for Oakland. These guys are very high risk, high reward plays with home run potential. Almost Hail Mary plays. Slater is also a Hail Mary play for San Francisco, borderline Hail Mary at least. If he draws a start, he'll be in play, but we do want to make sure he starts. If he doesn't start, then he's going to be really, obviously, you don't want to roster him. Michael Harris is finally starting to hit the ball good throughout the season lately, so I like his potential here. I think he's got great upside, and he has massive potential sometimes. Though this is a tough matchup, so he has also a high risk, high reward option. And then Max Kepler for Minnesota. He draws some really good metrics as well, though he is high risk, high reward. He's had 2 straight games with home runs. Otherwise, he hasn't done much else. You could also consider Bryce Harper and Byron Buxton at this position as well. So with that said, guys, thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to leave them below. And have a nice day, guys.